Greetings everybody, this is Paulos Laguretos with a free play in the Champions League quarterfinals on Tuesday. Huge match between Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. Now, before our free play, I want to invite you guys to go to my page at wt.buzz/pl. We're running a nice promo for 7 days of soccer. You can get 7 days of soccer for just $49 using coupon code SOC7. I'm going to have a couple of best bets on Tuesday in the CONCACAF Champions Cup and the Copa Libertadores, and of course some plays in the Champions League as well. Now onwards to our free play. Again, it's Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. Huge match. First leg of the quarterfinals, and Bayern Munich, they are -109 favorites at home. The draw is at +262. Inter Milan are +300 underdogs on the road in this first leg of the quarterfinals, and the total is set at 2.5 goals. Now, first of all, Bayern Munich are plagued by injuries at this point in time. They're missing starting goalkeeper Neuer, along with starting left back Davies and starting center back Upamecano. They're also missing key midfielder Musiala, along with like 3-4 other players, Coman, Ito, Pavlovic. So they're a bit thin in all lines at the moment. The injury to Musiala is a huge blow because they lost one of their key midfielders and one of the most productive players. Now they're going to have to use either Gnabry, out of position, or an aging Müller, who has been hit or miss when he played this season. In fact, Thomas Müller, he announced that he will be leaving the club at the end of the season after 25 years. Oddly enough, and if you like numbers, he wears number 25, and the year is 2025. So the Champions League final is played in Munich, so on home ground for Bayern Munich. So the stars may align for Bayern to win this UCL title at home and bid farewell to Müller in a proper manner. Now, by the way, I still remember when Thomas Müller made his first steps in the Bundesliga. I think it was, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago as a teenager. And he looked exactly the same as he does now, like a 45-year-old. So anyway, Bayern, they also missed a chance to win the UCL title on home soil back in 2011, 2012. Where actually Müller took the lead in that final against Chelsea, but they lost. So that was in fact the last year that Bayern Munich went trophyless in a season, as they lost both the Bundesliga title and the cup to Jurgen Klopp's Dortmund. So will history repeat itself after 25 years, or will Bayern get their much-sought title on home ground? Let me know in the comments below. So okay, start time. Bayern, they're unbeaten in their last 22 Champions League matches at home, with 17 wins and 5 draws, 0 losses. But their last defeat in this venue was in the quarterfinals back in 2021. They tend to do well in the quarterfinals in this competition with 21 wins and 13 losses, although they did lose 3 in a row before beating Arsenal last season. Now, Inter Milan, they also reached the final back in 2022-23. But they also they lost to Manchester City. Mixed bag of results when they play on German soil, with 6 wins, 8 draws, 9 losses. They've also been eliminated in 4 of their 7 quarterfinals in Champions League play. Coach Simone Inzaghi has lost all 4 previous matches against Bayern Munich, with his team conceding 2+ goals in all 4 matches. Now, these two have met 7 times in the Champions League, 6-1 to the under 2.5 goals, and with Bayern winning 4, drawing 1, and losing twice. However, both losses hurt a lot because the first loss was the 2010 final of the Champions League, where Inter Milan beat Bayern Munich by 2-0. And the next year in the round of 16, where Inter Milan beat Bayern Munich again in this venue by 3-2, and they eliminated them. Inter Milan, they're 7-3 to the under 2.5 goals in the Champions League this season. All 5 of their away matches went to the under 2.5 goals, and that includes matches at Manchester City and Leverkusen. Coach Inzaghi, he knows that they have to be very careful here, because if they're not, they might return to Italy with 3, 4, 5 goals on their back. So in typical Inzaghi fashion, I expect him to deploy a defensive tactic, get a favorable result, maybe a win or a draw, but even if they lose, it must come by the smallest of margins, maybe 1 or 2 goals, because he does have his eye in the Champions League this season. He said so in the past. Plus, Inter Milan, they do have the treble dream alive, as they're currently sitting at the top of the Serie A. and they're also through to the Cup semi-finals with a 1-1 draw in the first leg. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is too strange of a match for me to have a big play on, although all things considered, I do like the under 2.5 goals at -115. There are several reasons to back Bayern. The title is at their home. They're bidding farewell to Müller. They're extremely hard to beat at home, but they do have absences. But they also tend to do well despite the absences. Reasons to fade Bayern: injuries to Neuer and their entire backline. They have also the curse of Harry Kane, who is trophyless, and it's really, really weird. Reasons to get the over: again, injuries to Bayern Munich's backline. I mean, they conceded 1 goal to Augsburg, and last week 2 goals to St. Pauli, who haven't scored 2 goals against anyone, I believe, this season, and they had the league's worst offense, but they still scored twice in Munich. However, the Champions League is a different situation. Reasons for the under: Inter Milan always play safely in first legs of such competitions, especially when the first leg is on the road, because again, Inzaghi wants to take a manageable result back home to Italy, where he looks to do the most damage. So there are much better matches to bet on Tuesday and Thursday and Wednesday. I actually like a lot of plays in the CONCACAF Champions Cup on Tuesday, and the Copa Libertadores as well. We have the group stage, in case you haven't noticed. The Copa Libertadores and the Copa Sudamericana started last week, and we did a lot of damage in the last couple of seasons betting in these matches. So I do have a couple of best bets for the CONCACAF Champions Cup and the Copa Libertadores for Tuesday. But for this match, I'm going to take the under 2.5 goals at -115 on Tuesday in the first leg of the quarterfinal between Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. If you want the rest of my free plays and my promos and my top picks, you go to wt.buzz/PL. Again, we have a nice promo for 7 days of soccer. You can use code SOC7 to get 7 days of soccer for just $49, and you'll get all my plays for a week, and that includes, all the Champions League, all the Europa League, all the Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamericana, CONCACAF Champions Cup, and of course the weekend matches. Good luck and God bless.